Okay, let's jump in. We're going to talk about something you might think you know, but maybe in a new light. Neurolinguistic programming, NLP.
Right.
But specifically, this fourth generation, and forget, the dusty textbooks. This isn't that.
Not at all.
This is really NLP retooled specifically for your world now. The internet, everything moving so fast.
Exactly. It's evolved quite a bit.
So our mission today really is to kind of unpack what makes this new era of NLP tick. What are its key characteristics, its implications, maybe pushing past some older ideas about it. And what really seems central here and why it feels relevant is this focus on flexibility, independent learning, being able to adapt.
That's the core of it, I think.
Which if you're trying to navigate, everything today, information overload, career changes, that adaptability is just crucial.
It really is. And what's fascinating when you look at how it's developed, this fourth generation isn't just like a minor update. Earlier NLP, it often zeroed in on modeling excellence, maybe fixing a specific problem, like a phobia, or improving one communication skill.
Right, the classic example.
Yeah. But this fourth generation feels like a fundamental shift.
Yeah.
It's adapting to our digital reality where change isn't just constant anymore. It feels like it's accelerating.
It really does.
So it's less about just copying a perfect model and more about building, let's say, your own internal operating system for success, more flexible.
Okay, so building on that, the big question for everyone listening is, what does this new way, this evolved NLP actually mean for you?
Yeah, that's what we want to get into.
That's what we're tackling. So we'll explore a few key shifts. First, how the methodology now really stresses learning outcomes and practicing independently, moving way beyond just, memorizing steps.
Definitely.
Second, this really crucial pivot. NLP isn't just a therapy tool anymore for fixing things. It's being used everywhere by all sorts of people for proactive growth, for building success.
Much broader scope now?
Yeah. And finally, how its tools really give individuals the power to learn how to succeed in lots of different areas, not just overcoming one specific problem.
Exactly. It's shifted from just problem solving to being much more generative, creating new skills, new mindsets, new ways forward you might not have even thought about before.
Right. So when we talk about this bigger picture for NLP, the main goal seems universal, really. It's for everyone, for every part of life, helping you reach your potential, live better.
It's about capability building.
Not just fixing things that are broken, building capabilities. Exactly. Okay, so let's start with that first big shift you mentioned, moving away from rote memorization towards real learning outcomes and that independent practice piece.
Right.
So in the past, someone might learn, say, an NLP technique for rapport by just following steps A, B, C. How does this fourth generation approach that differently?
Well, what really stands out is the focus on metacognition, understanding your own thinking, and self-modeling.
Okay, metacognition. Tell me more.
Instead of just getting rigid instructions, this generation helps you understand how you learn, how you create your own successful strategies internally, and, crucially, how you adapt those strategies, on the fly.
Oh, okay.
So imagine you want to get better at public speaking. Older NLP might give you a pattern for stage fright.
Sure.
Fourth gen NLP would help you observe your own internal state, figure out what actually creates confidence for you personally, and then build a flexible strategy that works whether you're in a small meeting or giving a huge keynote.
So you become your own coach almost,
Yeah.
constantly adjusting.
Exactly. You're calibrating yourself, constantly refining based on what's actually happening, the feedback you're getting in the moment.
So it's not just here's the fish or even here's how to fish, but more like here's how to figure out how you fish best and how to design your own gear for any pond.
That's a great analogy. Precisely. It's about cultivating what we sometimes call generative learning.
Generative learning.
Yeah. You're not just taking in info. You're developing the ability to generate new solutions, new behaviors, new insights on your own.
Which sounds essential now.
It's absolutely critical when the right answer changes so quickly. It builds that mental agility, that capacity for continuous self-improvement. And that's why it connects so directly to independent practice. You internalize the process, not just the list of steps.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, especially with, everything changing all the time, which leads nicely into the second big point. NLP moving beyond just being a therapeutic tool.
Right.
I think, like you said, a lot of people still hear NLP and think therapy, phobias, maybe past trauma stuff. How did it break out of that box?
Yeah, and this is where it really expands into, human potential generally. The therapeutic roots are still valuable, obviously.
Of course.
But the fourth generation recognizes that the core ideas, understanding thought patterns, language, behavior, these are incredibly powerful, well beyond just fixing problems.
How so?
Well, think about it. If you can model how someone overcame a fear, why can't you model how a really innovative entrepreneur comes up with ideas?
Okay, good point.
Or how a great negotiator consistently gets results? This shift moves from problem solving towards outcome generation.
Outcome generation, I like that.
Yeah, so we're seeing it used by leaders, building better teams, by entrepreneurs speeding things up, by creatives getting unstuck, and just by individuals wanting to optimize, daily life, relationships.
So it's moving from what's broken, let's fix it, to more like, what do I want to create? How do I get there faster or better?
Exactly that.
Could you give maybe a concrete example outside of therapy?
Sure, absolutely. Take a professional maybe feeling stuck in their career. Instead of digging into why they feel stuck, which is more the traditional therapy angle,
Right.
this newer NLP approach would help them identify the internal strategies of people who are, say, great networkers or creative problem solvers or really influential communicators in their field. Then they'd learn how to adapt those strategies flexibly for their situation, becoming more proactive in shaping their own career.
So they're building the skills proactively.
Yes, or take relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's less about dissecting a past fight and more about understanding the language and behavior patterns that build, deeper connection, empathy, understanding for future interactions. It becomes a proactive investment in success, not just a reactive repair job.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to the last point about how these tools empower people to succeed broadly, not just overcome specific issues. What exactly are these tools then, if it's not just a list of techniques for fixing things?
That's a really good question, because the tools here are less like items in a toolbox and more about developing a kind of meta-level awareness, understanding your own operating system.
Meta-level awareness, like seeing how you think.
Exactly. These tools include things like sophisticated ways to understand communication, advanced skills in recognizing patterns, the ability to build and use your own powerful internal resources like confidence or focus, and strategies for really flexible thinking.
Okay.
It's about getting the deep structure of how we humans think, learn, create our reality, and then learning how to consciously influence that structure to get the outcomes you want.
So less about learning one persuasion trick.
Right. More about understanding the underlying cognitive and language patterns that make any communication persuasive, so you can adapt naturally to whoever you're talking to, whatever the situation.
Becoming a master strategist for your own mind and interactions, then.
You could put it that way, yeah.
How does that help someone practically? Like dealing with the complexity of the digital world we mentioned, all that information, constant new challenges.
Well, think about the skill of learning faster, accelerating learning.
Definitely need that.
In this digital age, you constantly have to pick up new skills, new info, new ways of doing things. Fourth Gen NLP gives you frameworks to deconstruct complex skills, find the core patterns, and integrate them much more quickly.
Oh, okay.
It teaches you how to manage your own focus, how to build resilience so you don't get overwhelmed, how to innovate by combining ideas in new ways.
So it's much bigger than just, say, overcoming a fear of speaking.
Oh, much bigger. It's about developing the internal resources to maybe lead a complex project successfully, or master some new software in weeks, not months, or navigate really tricky negotiations effectively. It equips you with the mindset, the cognitive flexibility to really thrive, not just cope in this accelerating environment. It's really about unlocking potential across your whole life, building capability, not just patching things up. So yeah, just to kind of wrap up what we've been exploring, this fourth generation of NLP, it's really a significant expansion, a profound one even.
Yeah, it feels that way.
It's moved way beyond being just a niche therapy tool. It's become this broader framework for personal growth, for success, and it feels uniquely suited to the demands of right now, our digital age.
Right.
It's that shift from fixing what's broken to really building what's possible.
And I think what really hits home about this generation is how it focuses on empowering you, the individual, giving you the tools for independent learning, for being adaptive in a world that just keeps changing.
Exactly.
It's less about being given the answers, much more about learning how to learn, how to adapt yourself, and ultimately how to thrive whatever comes your way.
That's the core insight, really. NLP's evolution now is about helping individuals learn how to succeed across all sorts of aspects of life.
Right.
Focusing on realizing potential, living better. It's not solely about problem solving anymore.